Alright, this is the Ponish filter Mark II. If you watched the first video, the first one was a little tiny aquarium pump with a water bottle filter design. This one is actually, no, this one's a lot better. The basic design of this is basically the same thing as like a sand-driven, a sand filter for a pool. Same basic system. If you have one of those, it's pretty much what I used for my design. Alright, first things first, why did I do this? Basically, the reason why I did this is because of my other filter was kind of dying. I had a 2-filter combo, the Ponish filter and a Tetra filter. And the Tetra was slowly dying. It wasn't really that good efficiency, and it had, I don't know, it was just not circulating the water in this tank and causing a heck of a lot of cloudiness, and you can see it's going away. Alright, let's actually get to this thing. Here it is. All of its ugliness. There's the output. What I used here is a pump head. You can get these at Walmart. I don't believe I actually have the box anymore. But it's a, I don't know if you can see that, but it says it's a recent pump head. That's the name, recent. And you might be wondering, what the heck is this container? Well, this is a jamming jar, a plastic jamming jar that I actually found on in a trash can. It looks like someone was trying to make like ice cream and epically failed at it. And I took a whole bunch of these guys out of the trash can because they were just too cool, and I knew I could do something with them. And I cleaned this guy up. I don't know why I picked pink, but I did. And basically how this thing works is, right here is the output of the pump. I'm kind of go in reverse. And then down here I have ammonia removing rocks and gravel with carbon in it. And then this is actually, like I said before, the pool sand, filter sand. I did sterilize it, and it's designed for removing oils and stuff and dirt, and I sterilized that. One of the key features of this thing, and you cannot see it, this is the input pipe. As you can see, I just blocked off the bottom. I drilled holes to make that. This part here is a little neat trick I learned with epoxy. You epoxy one end, do not glue one end, and you kind of get like the same thing like normal like Tetra filters have, that you can slide on the tube and it won't leak. You just put epoxy around this, wait till it dries, and put a whole bunch on it, and then you can slide those together, and the epoxy acts kind of like a gasket. Alright, one of the key features of this is there's an elbow, and this is like, I don't know, half-inch tubing, and there's an elbow that is pointing it this way, and this actually spins the water around and around, and it actually creates a spiral that you can see. The rock here actually is slightly indented. This isn't, but it's slightly curved because of the output, and I believe it actually spirals around, and then the input is just a simple PVC pipe with some kind of, I don't know, like a T filter or something. I found it's a stainless steel T filter that I drilled a hole through. It's mesh, and I placed the pipe inside with some holes like that in there, just to keep the sand away from the hole so it doesn't get sucked up into the pump head up here. And I just piled it up. I did the same kind of gasket epoxy thing for the connection with the pipe and this tube. When you get this thing, there'll be like some kind of like adapter that makes it really, really nice to put this thing together. You just glue the adapter right onto the lid and then you do the PVC gasket thing for the PVC pipe. The only problem I actually encountered was first you got to get a siphon going, and I just kind of found a piece of tubing that could fit up here temporarily, started the siphon and ran, but you have to first prime the pump by filling it up full of water. First, the only problem that I encountered besides that one is you can see how this is kind of like glued the crap out of and slightly burnt. It's because right up here, you'll notice when you get these Reliant things, there's like this weird water tanky thing. I don't know what it is, but I didn't realize that, and I just kind of thought that it was completely sealed. And maybe yours would do this, I don't know. But mine started dripping out of here, and basically like it fills up kind of like a bathtub. It's only about like yay big, and it will start dripping and making a mess. And so I glued it, and then it started leaking a little bit, and it will start leaking around here. And I basically mixed it with took a little bit of plumber's clay, mixed it with epoxy, and smushed it in here. And it was, there was time, because you can just drain the water off by sliding this thing off. And that's, you just let it set, and it's not a big leak. It's not like it comes out everywhere. And once the glue was all dry, I had to just fix a little bit of leaks by taking my soldering iron and just melting the two pieces of plastic together, and that basically stopped all the leaks. What this is for is basically for starting a siphon in this tube. You would draw vacuum on this. This is just a valve. I turn this open. I got this from a tank. You turn this open, you start a siphon on it, and it also helps you with the water level. You can start a siphon and then close it while you still have a vacuum on it, and it will keep the water level really high, and that's good. The only other thing I could really say, and you want to try this out if you have one of these weird canning jars and you want to build it, is definitely when you get one of these Reliant things, there's a cap here, glue the cap on, because this is for like a bubbler thing. You do not want that to leak, because it will lose all of its efficiency. But other than that, that's pretty good. I mean, it works great, as you can see. Fish really like it. It's really getting a lot less cloudy. I mean, it was a bad shade of gray that smelled bad, and not even a Ponish filter could really help that, because it was a problem with the Tetra. It just wasn't moving enough water, and this was more inefficient than actually it was it was worth. Everything's pretty good now. The only problem that I kind of like about this is it does kind of sound like a little bit like a coffee grinder. It's a little loud. But to basically change this thing and actually put it on, you need to get a pair of pliers and squeeze these together and remove it, the snap thing, and it'll come the whole way, the rest off. This is basically a canister filter / modified pool filter thing for the guy that doesn't want to spend all the money for the canister filter. This basically ran me about, I would say, 26 bucks. Found that for free. Tubes were all about 6 bucks. Pump head was 20. And that's it. This is it. I also got a new plexiglass top. Just made that today. And that's it. Fish are digging it. It's really working good. Alright, you want to try it? Shoot me up with a comment or email or whatever. I will try to answer your questions. Don't get mad at me. I didn't do step by step. I did not do an instructable. This was kind of the test model. Not a lot of people think that, instructables are made for people that have done this project a couple of times. Who knows? I didn't know if this was going to work, so I didn't want to take a whole bunch of pictures and videos and then this thing not work and, be embarrassing. The other thing that I can really say is if you do get this kind of pump head, you're going to have to cut the little, I guess, adapter plastic things. They're like a little ring that sticks out. You have to cut those down to get this kind of fitting on. And once you cut them down and sand them, then this back part ring, there's two rings, will actually fit on real nicely, and you can just glue it. I just used epoxy with all this. I didn't have PVC glue, and you don't really need it. What else? Oh yeah, and you also have to glue up under here, because that will leak. So once you get it in position that you like it, you glue up under here, and by that stage you can put this in here. I would create a little bit of a vacuum by plugging up this end, and then plugging up this end and then starting a vacuum on here, just to not when it's full of water, but when you're building it, just to draw the glue in. And then once it's all dry and stuff, then put the sand in, put everything in, take it all apart. What parts can come off, because this can actually slide off because the adapter's in there. And that's it. I'm just trying to make it as easy as I possibly can. If someone wants to recreate this thing, I mean, it works pretty good. It took a gray tank that was incredibly cloudy. I couldn't even see that fish by the skull. It was horrible. To almost clear. I mean, this thing's only been running about an hour. So, you like it? You don't? Just, you want to recreate it, just shoot me an email like I said before, and peace out, YouTube.